Welcome back. It is still October 12th, 2020, and we're finishing up the board work session on budget. And what we have today is, this afternoon, is tourism promotion area. And we have Shauna Stewart from the VCB with us. And so welcome. Haven't seen you for a while. It's nice to see you back. And so, Robin, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Welcome, Shauna. Thank you for being here this afternoon. The board has the financial plan that you sent us, so they've got a copy of that. But I'm going to turn it over to you to talk a little bit about the TPA and how that all fits with everything you do. So take it away.
Will do. All right. I know you guys are on a tight schedule today. So real quick before I kick it off, I do want to say thank you to the Board of County Commissioners in Thurston County for your enormous investment in Thurston Strong. That has been a phenomenal boon for our local community, and we're looking forward to launching the retail and restaurant grants tomorrow, and really helping to give that industry that's really seen a kind of has been disproportionately hit by the COVID crisis. Looking forward to helping them out. So I really appreciate your commitment to our community and our economy in that way. Before I dive into the financials too, thank you, Robin, for teeing me up. I am presenting on the TPA budget. As you will see as we go through the budget, the TPA dollars are kind of pooled together and leveraged with our membership dollars, lodging tax dollars, and private advertising and so forth dollars to create one large budget. So that's what I'm going to be presenting on today, but you will see a line for TPA and what we anticipate in terms of bringing in revenues specific to TPA on that. I have two budgets that I want to share with you today. One is the 2020 proposed budget amendment, making some changes to our original plan. I think once March hit, all of our plans were just kind of tossed over our shoulders. So this is our next best attempt, recognizing it is still not perfect. But we look forward to sharing that with you. And then we'll look at 2021 as well, and our plans moving forward into and towards recovery. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen, if that's okay. All righty. So real quick on 2020, I just want to highlight just some of the things that the VCB did to work and pivot our resources through the year, give a little more context to the numbers that you see in front of you. As you know, as a destination marketing organization, we're responsible for promoting travel. So we're responsible for getting people moving around, going out and exploring, coming to our region and experiencing it. And in March of 2020, the world stopped traveling. So after a short existential crisis as an organization and professional, we worked very quickly to figure out how we can serve our community in these challenging times. So we worked to, and I'm not going to go in detail on all of these just in the interest in time, but we really worked to make sure that we were an information resource to both our clients, visitors, and our community, making sure they had the most updated information on travel advisories, different restrictions, safe travel information, et cetera, and then connecting businesses with resources they needed to survive these trying times. Supporting small businesses, we launched some digital networking events, providing educational content. We shifted a lot of our marketing to more of a local audience, so really targeting takeout and delivery for locals, promoting digital experiences, and then working with the Thurston Strong group. Data collection was a big part of the work that we were doing so we can help ourselves and our community make informed decisions, both for funding and help move us forward with the right information. So we were doing that. And then, of course, planning for recovery, making sure that we had a phased responsible reentry plan to get early travelers back to the destination while also making sure that it's safe for our community and our travelers. So this is a little bit of what that looked like. These are some social media posts where we kind of shifted away from this cheerleading come experience to a more subtle tone where we're talking about what you can see and do safely in our community and how to recreate responsibly, both in our outdoors, but also as you're exploring our area, making sure that we're respecting one another, respecting our environment, and respecting ourselves. We dialed way back on a lot of our expenses, and I will talk about that in a minute. But some of the things that we kept were video and photography content, making sure that we were continuing to push out beautiful images of our region to keep people daydreaming and staying top of mind for the future. So early, like I would say early spring, we launched this Savor the Slow campaign. This is when we were still under stay home, stay healthy orders. So kind of more encouraging people to take time, slow down, and just enjoy beautiful pictures of the area and then plan for future travel. Later in the summer, we launched a Going the Distance ad campaign. So we promoted this through social media. We actually put some money behind this project. But the idea is kind of tapping into those who were interested in road tripping, close to home trips. We know that people felt safer driving in cars than in trains or planes, et cetera. So giving them road trip ideas throughout Thurston County. So of course, the Thurston Bountiful Byway was an iconic place that we had a lot of fun promoting. And then our current campaign, we started getting a little bit anxious about fall for a lot of our small businesses and so forth. The summer was glorious because we had good weather and people could be outside and they could take food to go, picnic, hike, play outdoors, etc. But as the rain starts coming, how do we encourage people to continue to get out and support our small businesses? So we launched a campaign called Road School, and this will carry us through the end of the year and probably into the next year. And this is targeting families who are now remote learning or homeschooling and providing educationally enriching experiences throughout Thurston County to create memories, get away from the Zoom calls, but still feel good that you're nurturing your kids' imagination and minds through that. So our first subject is natural history, and our curriculum is Read, Watch, Go. So we have a reading list curated by a local bookstore. Watch, we have some videos curated by local organizations that are educational in nature, so kiddos can watch that at home. And then our favorite part is Go. So a list of activities where people can go and explore our area while learning together as a family. So if you want to look at your, so that's kind of the show and tell for 2020. And I'll just quickly kind of run through the handout for the January through December 2020 budget and key in on some highlights. In terms of income and expenses, our lodging tax dollars went down a little bit, specifically in Lacey, just with hotel revenues not coming in where they were expected. They had to make some difficult choices. So there were some cuts to sports, especially given that sports groups couldn't meet. It didn't make a lot of sense to continue funding sports marketing at that time for them. Membership declined a lot. This is in part because we launched what we call our COVID Care program, a free digital membership, giving businesses the opportunity to have free member benefits it's currently running through the end of the year. We'll probably extend it. So while we're surprised how many people continue to pay their membership, many people are taking advantage of the digital membership offer as well. Our annual events were canceled, so we see a large decrease in funding from those. And then TPA revenues are, of course, tied to hotel stays. And when people aren't traveling, those taxes aren't being generated. So we are anticipating to be about 35% down on TPA revenues for the year. So our total income for the year, we're anticipating to be about 29% down from what we had originally anticipated. If you had talked to me about 6 years ago or 6 months ago, it feels like 6 years ago, we were like cutting everything and it was like bare bones. And we were very concerned about what the end of the year was going to look like for us. And now sitting just a few months till the end of this very unique year, we're actually sitting in a pretty healthy spot because of some of those early decisions that we made. So we cut back significantly on advertising, all of our marketing, some of our marketing like our website and so forth. Those things were really important to keep going. We negotiated contracts where we could. And you just see a number of cuts as you kind of go down that list. And like I said, we did want to make sure that we were prioritizing video and photography, recognizing that a lot of people are spending time online and we want to capture their attention there. Under operations, under expenses, we made some immediate pay cuts, I believe beginning in March, to our whole team. Senior management took significant cuts and smaller cuts to the rest of the team. And we were hoping to be able to save everyone. Unfortunately, after we realized this was going to be a longer situation, we had to lay off 2 of our team members, and then we put the rest of our team members on shared work program for a period of time. So we were able to save about 24% personnel through those changes. The other big news is why I'm kind of dark and haven't figured out my new office space is in order to save on rent. We have moved in with the Thurston County Chamber of Commerce. So we have some new roommates and we believe that it'll be a really good partnership and collaborative opportunity moving forward, in addition to being able to significantly reduce our rent expenses, especially monthly. Professional development went way down. Travel obviously went way down. We have a line of credit fee from the bank. Early on, we took out a line of credit thinking we might need to lean on that later in the year. Fortunately, we haven't needed that. And then as you scroll down to nearly the bottom, you'll see an other income line. And so in here, we have EIDL funding in the amount of $6,000 and then economic stabilization funding. And this goes, this is a huge shout out and thank you to you, the Board of County Commissioners and partners around the region for helping to support organizations like the EDC, VCB, and chambers through some economic stabilization funding through Thurston Strong. So that made a big difference for us, helped us breathe a little bit in those early months and are helping us to end the year strong. So let's see, as of this time this budget was created 2 months ago, we were anticipating that we would dip into our reserves by about $20,000 by the end of the year. Keep in mind, 6 months ago, we thought we would drain our reserves to zero. And so a $20,000 dip felt pretty good. Seeing where TPA revenues are coming in and just some of the realities of our expenses, that may or may not be needed. So sitting pretty good for 2020. Are there any questions about the 2020 budget?
Where do I see the reserve of funding here?
Yeah, it is right above net ordinary income at the bottom of the last page. So it's about 2 inches from the bottom.
Under reserves, isn't it?
Yeah, it just says reserves. Are you looking for our total reserves that we have?
Well, oh, here we go. Last page. I see it. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions on 2020?
Any questions, commissioners? No?
No, I think Sean's doing a good job explaining it.
Okay.
All right. Well, then we will move on to 2021. All right. So every year we have a little theme at the VCB that kind of guides our strategic planning and our budgeting and so forth. And this year we're really talking about redefining success in the new, and we don't like the word normal. So reality, there's nothing normal about this. We refuse to believe it is. So redefining success in the new reality. And we'll talk a little bit about what that means here in a minute. But some trends we're watching moving forward. We're anticipating kind of a slow motion tourism restart. It's not because people don't want to travel; they do. There's a tremendous amount of pent up tourism demand, travel demand. It's just that with the different regulations, safety protocols, and so forth, it's just going to take a lot longer for this industry to bounce back than we've seen in some other industries. We also anticipate going back and forth between phases. We've been seeing that over the summer. Meetings, we anticipate kind of a slow rebound of corporate and association business as a lot of organizations have adapted the digital virtual meeting model into 2021 to make planning easier. Sports is identified as a quickly rebounding market, especially with youth sports, but these are still subject to limitations. And then finally, leisure, being at home all the time, folks are missing friends and family, wanting to reconnect, wanting to travel for their personal hobbies. Lots of local regional travelers, people maybe not quite sure about getting on airplanes or trains. And then we're seeing those millennials who are seeking outdoor lifestyle being popular early adopters of travel. I'm sure this graphic is how all of you feel and have felt for the last several months. So trying to juggle the pandemic and all the uncertainty that brings, trying to make sure that the organization is healthy and sustainable, and then all the community and stakeholder expectations and making sure we're all delivering value to those who are invested in our organizations. And it's kind of nutty. And so what I want to say, the reason I put this slide in here is because we are budgeting for the best while also still having some contingency plans for the worst. So there's a lot of, but what if this happens, or, what if we get a second round, or what if a vaccine never happens, or, add to the list. Our budget is designed to be very nimble and flexible, so we can adjust as we go. Of course, you've all seen our mission statement before, but I really want to emphasize that as we are moving forward, ensuring that Thurston County is operating from a position of strength is going to be really important. So supporting our local small businesses through education and collaborative work with Thurston Strong is going to be a big part of what we are doing moving forward. So while we've had a heavy emphasis on developing experiences and promoting travel, that doesn't go away, but we are very much focused and will continue to be focused going into the new year on making sure that Thurston County has a strong product, which means thriving small businesses, protect, nice natural resources, and so forth that people can come and enjoy. So you've also probably seen this slide over the years when I talk about our role as an organization. So our role is to inspire, inform, and influence visitors through every stage of the buyer's journey. And while these roles aren't going to change, how we live out each of these roles is going to change over the next several months. So kind of what we're choosing to emphasize in this time of crisis versus normal times is a little bit different. So let's talk about inspiring first. So before we had our pom-poms out and we were ultimate cheerleaders and we were getting people to the region. And right now, while we continue to lean into our role as inspirers and hope builders in our community, we also are taking a very different tone and some playing into some different roles. So playing a role as a public servant, so making sure that we're promoting safe behavior. We want to make sure that as travel comes back, travel isn't, the cause or reason why people are getting sick and so forth. And then getting early travelers back into the destination is also some of the work that we will be doing. Let's see, informing. So before we can use our website, maps and guides, and visitor services to inform the visitor. And this has been a huge pivot that we've really leaned into. So we're very heavy on informing now. With a constantly changing environment, we're updating our website nearly daily, managing new businesses, closures, openings. These days, evergreen or content and information is much less evergreen. So we're really needing to stay on top of that so we can make sure we have the right information. And it's been interesting because as we've adapted our website more, we've actually seen a big traffic increase, and the website duration has increased as well. So people are spending more time on our website trying to find information. And then we also want to invest in new data to keep local businesses up to date. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that later. So the next role is influence. So pre-COVID, we were out at trade shows, we were bringing media fams in on a regular basis, etc. Right now, it's those activities are dialed back. Moving into 2021, sales will be much more about maintaining client relations, making sure that we're serving as a resource, capturing those leads, and then making sure we're prioritizing that sports market that we anticipate to be an early recoverer for our destination. We also want to do some work towards industry advocacy and support, making sure that the businesses are supported and that we have product to promote on the other end of this so we can generate those tourism dollars down the road. And then working to make video and photo and marketing content available to partners so they can use that in their own marketing efforts. Let's see, where am I at time? I'm going to skip this slide, just in the interest of time. Goals, I typically present goals during the budget phase. We are going to delay that for the time being, given just how much things are changing right now. When this budget was originally produced back in August, it's just too, this is a great phrase I'm going to steal from my coworkers. It's like nailing Jell-O to a wall in a hurricane. So just too much missing information right now that we will look forward to having more so later down the road. So appreciate your grace on the goals aspect of things. In terms of our budget, this is just our budget at a glance. LTAC will remain fairly in line with previous year asks. Membership, we dialed way back in terms of our budget, being really conservative. Like I mentioned, we're likely to extend our free digital membership program. We're really at this point just trying to make sure that we can support as many businesses as possible and recognizing that while $200 wasn't a lot of money in 2019, it can feel like a make or break right now. Let's see. Private will remain very similar. And then TPA, the way we calculated TPA is we're essentially anticipating that we'll be down 15% from 2020. So industry calculations are anticipating about 20%. This is one of those areas where we're trying to be a little bit more optimistic. If we don't get the money, we don't spend the money. But also we want to make sure that we have a plan in place if and when we do. And our occupancy has actually been doing fairly well, and TPA revenues are picking up again. So our expenses are fairly in line. I don't even know if this slide is relevant anymore because the industry is what it is right now, but we continue to be very in line with industry standard in terms of how our budget is broken down in terms of how much we put towards programs, sales, marketing, and communications, operations versus personnel. We're very much in line with industry standard. Under marketing and communications, we're really going to be focused on prioritizing these three strategies. So social media and video, media relations, and our website. With advertising, we will continue to support state industry publications with strong distribution throughout the region. We'll do SEO and SEM to drive traffic. But our content and our media relations are going to be our big strategy. So making sure that people have access to inspiring, beautiful photos, that our social media is consistently up to date, has good information, that we have video content that is engaging and interesting. For media relations, we're starting to see travel writers wanting to travel again and talking about what that looks like in this new world. And then our website, we're really leaning into that and making sure that that's maximized with the latest and most up-to-date information. Interestingly, I'm going to pause on the website. We did a website conversion study last year, and it was a 2-year study. And our website, this is a whole other report maybe sometime, but our website was shown to generate about $2.5 million in economic impact for the region. So by people either extending their stays or helping to influence their stays, we were able to generate about $2.5 million per year over the 2-year study. So $5 million on that. So a website, it can feel kind of, basic, but it is having a huge impact on our community. So I'd mentioned earlier that we want to serve as a trusted advisor and make sure that we're providing businesses with good, up-to-date information on the area. And so there's a couple of investments that planning on making in 2021. One is Destination Next. So this is a community and stakeholder survey to measure where we are as a destination from a brand perspective and where we're at from a community relations perspective. So this can really help inform leaders both in tourism and out on where we're at and get some really clear action items on where we need to go. This will be a big part of our strategic planning process in 2021. And I'm looking forward to having strong community engagement in that. And then C-Source will be a data resource in partnership with the Washington Tourism Alliance. And C-Source offers tourism spending data and geolocation data, so cell phone GPS information that can be combined with household level demographic and psychographic data. And the combination of this data allows us to understand who is coming into our community, who has come, who is coming, and then we can make decisions on who is coming. We can know whether or not they stayed in a hotel and what sites they visited while here. One of the reasons why we want to do this is because a lot of our data, economic impact data, we don't get until about 4 to 6 months after a year ends. This is much more real-time data that we can push out to businesses to help them understand who their potential target markets are, and so they can adjust their advertising, and we, of course, could also adjust our advertising and messages as well with that kind of information. Under product development, we are moving away from the traditional kind of print brochure products that depend on a lot of businesses. We found that these require frequent updating, and many businesses are closed right now. So we are going to continue, don't panic, we're continuing Thurston Bountiful Byway because it's much more than a brochure experience. But we also want to move towards playing a much larger role in the visitor experience itself. So where can we help enhance the visitor experience in Thurston County? One of the projects that we're working with Harry from Thurston County Parks on is this idea of putting bike kiosks up on some of the trails, like the Yelm Tenino Trail and the Chehalis Western Trail, that might be able to help support local small businesses. And so we have some budget for that in the new year. Marketing communications, visitor services. As you know, we transitioned away from the visitor center model about a year ago. That's been working out pretty well. We experimented with a few new ideas. So one was operating a call center through the Children's Museum, and they've been great partners of ours, and that's really been working well. We also continue to support our regional visitor centers throughout the area, the Lacey South Sound Chamber and Yelm Chamber of Commerce, and then some businesses downtown who are serving as visitor centers as well with content and information. And then we've also launched the Certified Tourism Ambassador Training Program. It's a hard time to launch a program of that nature. So we wanted to make sure that this program was supported financially and that cost wasn't a barrier to our local small businesses. The Certified Tourism Ambassador Training Program is designed to equip and empower hospitality professionals and community members throughout the region to be champions of our destination and to make every visitor experience a wow experience. So we had our first field test in August, launched our first class in October. Lots of really great feedback. People who've lived here their whole lives or new to the area, just blown away by the experience. But anyway, we've built in scholarships into our budget so we can make sure that we're making that accessible and it's as low barrier as possible for our businesses. Under sales, we will continue to maintain client relations, serve as a resource, and be proactive in support sales. Part of the way we're going to do that, because we have a limited staff, is we're going to partner with this consulting group who's kind of stepping in for a lot of organizations like ours who are limited on staff that can keep our name and our destination in the game, if you will, and so can help kind of generate leads that then our team can facilitate internally with our local partners. Under operations, we are currently down to 4 people. This is kind of a dark slide, but we're currently down to 4 people, and we are hoping that we can bring back 2 full-time employees in the new year to help us facilitate a lot of these programs. If we're going to do the programs, we need people to operate the programs, and so we've budgeted for a couple of new hires in the new year. TPA administration, we've brought in-house. We are operating that internally. There are some, excuse me. I have some.
I hate that.
I have some lunch in there. Sorry. Okay. Let's see. So there are some expenses associated doing internally. One is we have some board effect software, which keeps all of the TPA documents separate from VCB, so we can be 100% separate, make sure that we're playing above board and all information is public and accessible at all times. There's licensing fees, postage, legal and accounting, and internal administration fees associated with that. So that is the budget. I think I got through that quickly. So if you guys have any questions, I'd love to answer them.
Gary or Ty, do you have questions?
Yes, just a quick one. By any chance, you recall how things turned out for the destination farms on any of those grants or anything? Are you up on that at all?
Not on the farms. Let's see, some of the farm for the grants specifically.
Yeah, it had to do with they were limited on what kind of food service and what they could do, with rides and different things.
Oh, yes, I see. The agritourism. So a lot of those restrictions have been lifted. So kids I've seen out at pumpkin patches and they're doing a lot of the rides and mazes and so forth. So I think it was kind of hard for the agritourism businesses to plan because they were told they couldn't do that for so long. And then the regulations changed again. So everybody continues to be nimble. They seem to be doing well right now.
Okay. Okay, well, I've got to slide out. I've got another appointment, but I wanted to let you know before I left. I'm very much with you and thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate you.
Ty, do you have any questions?
Donna, what is the $149,000 that says private? What does that mean?
Yep, so that's a total of our advertising. So advertising for the visitor guide that we publish. And then event income and sponsorship. So our annual meeting and sports awards event. And then tourism sponsorship. So actually we put Thurston County's contribution in that line item. And the Tribe, Port of Olympia, et cetera, are in there as well. And then event in-kind sponsorship is just the donations that we receive to host our annual events. Just a total of those.
Okay.
Well, I have two questions. Were you done, Ty?
No,
Oh, go ahead.
but we can trade off if you want.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
I was wondering, I have two other questions. One is about, you had a slide up about sports marketing something.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess if you could explain kind of what your role is there. I always hear Lacey's got these grand ideas for sports complexes, and they got a big thing at Cabela's they were trying to do, and then a big thing at the Rack they were going to expand. And I don't know where any of that stands. I don't know if you guys get involved in the planning, but I was just curious since you had that sports marketing slide.
Yeah, so we work very closely with Lacey because they have some of the largest facilities in the region. So the Regional Athletic Complex as well as St. Martin's Pavilion are both some of the larger athletic facilities. And so our role is really to go out and secure business for some of those, like they secure business, but we're also going out and getting larger tourism groups into the area. We provide a lot of information about hotels and local business information to clients and to groups that are coming into the area. And then one of the big things that we've done over the years is provided what we call bid fees and sponsorships. So the sports world sales world is very cutthroat. And so you almost have to buy the business in many ways because the groups know that they're bringing all this economic development to your area, economic impact to the area by filling hotel rooms and so forth. So they want something in return. So we have helped host referee rooms or official rooms. We've hosted pizza parties. We've paid bid fees or field fees to help secure the business here in the area, so they don't go to another field or another venue outside of Thurston County. So we kind of serve as the region's kind of high-level sales and marketing engine. We have been involved with a lot of the conversations regarding new sports facilities that Lacey's had, working with the consultants and the feasibility studies and so forth. And, should that come to pass, it would be something that we'd be very interested in figuring out how we can support at a higher level than where we're at right now. But we work to sell like youth tournaments, college, high school, our main groups. We've brought in Quidditch groups. Quidditch is like from Harry Potter. And we had
I didn't think that was real.
Yeah, we had a flag football tournament lined up for this last summer. Flag football is one of the fastest growing sports right now because people are wanting to move away from concussions for kids. So flag football is a safer version of that. So we were able to secure a pretty large group. Unfortunately, that wasn't able to come. We hosted the WIAA golf tournament 2 years ago. It didn't happen this year, but we secured a 4-year contract that will bring 500 rooms to Thurston County 4 years in a row. So 2,000 rooms to the area. So we don't do it on our own. We work hand in hand with our venues. We work hand in hand with our hotels. The destination really needs to show as a united front and show clients what's in it for them to come and choose our fields, courses, etc., over anybody else's. Does that
Thank you. And I have,
sense?
yeah, no, it's a lot of information that I didn't know, so I appreciate that. The last topic I wanted to ask you about was the music, because you you and I have talked about that. I encouraged the inclusion of a music history in our tourism promotion, and the pandemic is decimating that. There doesn't seem to be anybody that advocates for it. I mean, the construction industry, raised a big ruckus in the spring and got the governor to set up a panel and worked out all this guidance. None of that happens in the arts and music. And meanwhile, our venues are about to close up for good, I can tell you, in Olympia. And bands are disbanding, and there's not going to be a lot left if nobody advocates. So I'm wondering if you have any ideas for how to advocate. I mean, I have friends that perform in Portland. In Portland, they have creative setups where they put the groups behind plexiglass, and they social distance, and they have outdoor patios, and they allow live performance. Nothing like that's been done in Washington, and it's taking its toll. So I'm just hopeful that if you ever get an opportunity to advocate for, putting some effort toward, just put a little effort into thinking of creative ways. We've done it for all these other small businesses. In fact, I attended a state meeting that was about this issue, and the whole perspective was all from the restaurants, and it was from like restaurants that wanted to have live music. And I mean, again, I was glad they were talking about it, but it was totally from that small business restaurant perspective. There was no recognition that there were artists or music venues or stuff that were totally dependent on a different way of thinking about getting over the obstacles. So definitely want to do it safely, but a lot of effort has gone into propping up other industries. And I think the arts and music are very important to our tourism, to your business, and to the citizens of our county. So any creative ideas you have or chances to advocate for that, please do.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I don't know if I have an answer, but the arts and culture components, I mean, if anybody's gotten hurt worse than just travel and tourism, it's art and culture. And I have regular conversations with different members who are in a lot of these venues and so forth. And just, it's heartbreaking because it's who we are as a culture and people and so forth. So yeah, when we have those opportunities, we're certainly taking them. But I mean, at this moment, I don't have any brilliant ideas. I wish I did. But we are, we're looking for ways and in constant conversation and partnerships with their members who are there.
Well, I'll make this quick, Sean, because we're out of time and I have another gig also. So you can give a short answer, kind of based on what Ty was just talking about. When the membership drops and the lack of renewals, is it predominantly restaurateurs or food industry? What industry is predominant that leaves?
That's actually probably a good question. I haven't dug up on that data, but I can ask that question and get back to you on that. What we found is our membership has actually grown over the last several months. It's just people are taking advantage of the free membership option.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we've done a lot of personal outreach to get people engaged and make sure that they're taking advantage of free marketing for them.
And I would guess the answer to this is yes. And that is, are we on par? Is Thurston County on par with other counties in the state and the state itself when it comes to tourism and visitor convention bureau?
We're actually doing a lot better than many of my peers.
Oh, wonderful.
I meet weekly with my peers from all over the state. King County is hurting. They are still, I think downtown Seattle is still like under 20% occupancy. We're at about 62%, I think. So we're down about 5% right now, year over year from last year. Like sorry, not year to date, but week over week, we're only like down 5%.
Yeah.
But like the big convention cities, Yakima is in phase 1 and is a big convention city. They're devastated. Spokane, I think, is phase 2, big convention city, really not in good shape. So I think our strengths is that we have a lot heavy leisure opportunity. So folks can come in as individual families, small groups, or just individuals and explore a destination. We're not overly dependent on a large facility right now.
Okay, very good. Any other questions? Go ahead, Robin.
Well, I just wanted to say that we've been tracking the TPA revenue, and we were estimating that it would come in just a little over 600,000 this year. So it's very close to what you're projecting for this year, and that both feels good and is like oh, what a huge hit. But we've been waiting to chat with you, Shauna, to see how much we should estimate for next year. It looks like you're targeting right around 800,000.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'll probably do is recommend to the board that they put 850,000 in the budget, and that will leave room just in case the recovery is going better than we think.
I love that idea. Thank you.
Got it. Well, thank you, Shauna. You're a sight for sore eyes. It's good to see you again. It's been a while.
Good to see you.
And thank you, Robin, again, and Patty and Olivia. Thank you. Romero, any parting words?
No, just thank you so much to Shauna. And I believe that, as I said here in the past internally, leadership shows in difficult times. And she has shown once again how she has led this, her group, her organization through those difficult times. So kudos to you, Shauna.
Thank you, Ramiro.
Very true, very true. All right. And so next thing on budget is Wednesday, and it's public health.
That's right. We'll start again Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock.
Got it. Thank you all very much. This meeting's adjourned. Take care, Shauna.
Bye. Thank you.
Shauna.